Where the fuck am I? I think I'm dreaming. Jesus! I have 2 dicks! This is the Craigslist dream! It is the Craigslist dream! Let me just check this peephole real quick. I wonder who's out there. Christ! Guy's wearing a leather mask. Here goes nothing. Why, hello there. Let me guess. Pizza delivery. Extra sausage.
Nick, is that you?
Rob, what the fuck? This is my dream. What are you doing here?
Dude, I have the Craigslist dream too. God damn it. Okay, we're having a lucid dream, so that's where we can control our own dreams.
Okay, you can take the mask off now.
Okay.
Fuck it. Get in here, dude. Look, it's hot in there. I got 2 dicks.
Okay, let me look here. Dude, that dick on the left definitely looks like it might have something wrong with it.
Yeah, that's my sick dick.
My name's Bill Wilkins, and I'm here for the Double Dick Craigslist ad.
And if you're wondering if I survived the Craigslist lucid dream confrontation, I'm here and I'm alive.
This could be a dream.
Hold on a second.
We don't know.
We have ways to detect whether we are in a lucid dream or not, Robert.
Finger my ass.
This is real. This is real life. You can pick your nose. You can shove your finger through your hand. There's lots of different ways to figure out if you're in a lucid dream or not.
There is. We'll go over those.
We will.
Definitely. This is the lucid dream episode.
It's going to be so much fun, guys.
Yeah, we have a good interview.
We recorded an interview.
Yes.
It's, sorry about that. His name's Jared. He's got a last name that seems like it's probably very hard to pronounce. And I'm sorry if I messed this up.
Especially for 2 white dudes.
We are fucking idiots. But yeah, his name is Jared Chiang, and that's Chiang. He's a lucid dream expert. He's a published author. Listen, sometimes we get people that completely bomb the interview.
Oh yeah, we get a lot of stinky turds whenever we do interviews. This was an amazing interview.
He's
awesome.
He is right up there with Michael Minkin with the alien helmets.
Great.
That's hallowed grounds right there, buddy.
Yeah.
He did a fantastic job telling us about lucid dreams and, various ways to go about achieving lucid dreaming, about, just about getting to the, getting there,
Yeah, we'll get to it. You guys will hear it.
Yeah.
So stick around to the very end for that.
And as always, I'm the delicious Nicolicious.
And I am the ever spunky Rob Dog.
He's spunky, all right.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've never listened to the Bro Heil podcast before, you are really doing yourself a favor right now. This is a fantastic podcast.
Your body's going to thank you later.
We are the lowest of the low. We had a 1-star review this week. I don't remember what it said.
Oh, we did?
I think so.
Okay.
Thinking back. They said, I remember now. They said, if you would like to do yourself a favor, please go listen to the last podcast on the left. Let me tell you something.
Oh, God, we got one of the elitists.
Folks, last time I checked, last podcast on the left is making about $60,000 a month via their Patreon, so they can fucking pay people to do all their work for them. Great podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super funny guys. They've created an incredible environment, an experience with their podcast. But Rob and I are 2 9-to-5ers in possibly my mother's basement. You folks don't need to know that. There's a cat box in the room with us.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple dads with about 3 hours a week, 3-ish hours to spare. This one went a little longer because the beginning of this episode, us being fucking idiots.
We do what we can. We try.
Yeah.
And not only that, and then I got to freaking close on a house tomorrow.
Rob closes on a house tomorrow. That's
Finally,
so exciting.
After looking for a year.
We're going to do a meetup at Rob's house where we're going to invite all Bro Heil listeners to Rob's new house. His wife's
gonna be great.
His wife's going to be really excited about that.
I'll give you guys all the address.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
And I would like to say thank you to our Patreon subscribers. We got 3 new Patreon subscribers this week.
Awesome.
Starting with Angela Santos. Thank you, Angela, so much for your Patreon pledge.
Thank you. Next, we got Anastasia Lemon.
Lemon. She is wonderful.
Yes, she is.
Never met her in person, but I'm saying she's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anastasia. What a majestic first name.
Beautiful name.
And then Eric Asbury. Thank you, Eric Asbury, or Asbury. It's Asberry. I'm going with Asbury.
Thank you, Mr. Asbury.
There's certain foods that I eat that give me the most disgusting Asberries ever. This podcast, we like to talk about poop. Not because we're immature, but because everyone takes a shit, okay? It's funny when you have fucking problems with your ass. Get over it. You don't like hearing about poop sometimes, and hit the goddamn stop button.
Go listen to the last podcast on the left.
They're good.
Yeah.
Generation Y, they're really good as well. If you just want straight reporting of the facts, or if you want
if you want a little bit of entertainment and a little bit of the facts, you came to the right place.
Right. And as always, we answer your Craigslist ads, as you can tell from the beginning of the episode.
What do we got this week?
I got an article for you.
All right.
An elderly Briton whose relationship with his pal went down the toilet saved his feces for several weeks in a revolting scheme in which he pumped the shit into the man's house, the Mirror reported. Jeffrey Holroyd Doveton, 75, of Rotherham, told police he thought Donald Wicks had contributed to his divorce more than 2 years ago and, quote, ruined my life, according to the news outlet. Armed with his stinky load, Holroyd Doveton traveled to Braintree, Essex, to carry out the vile attack on the home of Wicks and his hubby, Richard. Okay, so these were gay people.
Good for them.
Good for them. While they were away on New Year's Day, quote, it would seem that the defendant defecated into a container.
That's such a good word.
And kept for 6 to 8 weeks, prosecutor Leslie Small said. He had constructed a homemade pump and used that pump through the letterbox. Using that pump, he pushed the shit through the letterbox, causing that to splatter over the hallway, up the stairs, and onto the back wall, she said. Surveillance footage captured the vengeful pooper in the act outside the couple's home.
I want to be referred to as a vengeful pooper.
I will forever be known as the vengeful pooper. And if you make me divorce my wife, I will show up at your home and I will shit right in your mailbox.
I think it's so cool that he put the poop in the mailbox.
Oh, man.
Here at the Bro Ohio Podcast, we put the poop in the bag. But in Britain, they put it in the mailbox. Wicks described the incident in court as despicable and disgusting. It immediately caused me to feel very anxious and unable to sleep due to the stress. There is shit everywhere. I felt my personal space at home had been invaded. Holroyd Doveton pleaded guilty. What were you about to say, Rob?
I was going to say, have you ever smelled a 6-week-old turd?
Yeah. Oh my!
It don't smell good.
He caused more than $5,000 in damages. Jesus Christ!
That's expensive.
He fucking
turd.
shit on a feng shui rug. His lawyer Emily Hughes said he felt isolated and depressed after his marriage failed and was incredibly sorry for his actions. Judge Michael Cadman apparently found the defense a load of crap and slapped Holroyd Doveton with a suspended jail sentence along with 80 hours of unpaid work.
Oh, damn.
He also imposed a restraining order that bars Holroyd Doveton from contacting Wicks or venturing within a mile of his home.
Good old restraining orders.
Let me tell you something about pooping in mailboxes. Think you're opening up your electric bill and it's a goddamn fat turd. And I like to picture that, because we just are fucking stupid, stereotypical Americans.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of a British home, I think of Harry Potter's house. So,
yeah, right.
And he lived under the fucking stairs, so it's possible this dickhead got shit in Harry's room. If that's the case, I'm not down with OPP. You know me. I'm not cool with this, Rob Dog.
Nah, same.
It's nasty. Get Harry out from underneath the stairs and then shove the poop. Use your fucking plunge dispenser poop pump to get the poop in the house.
Vernon Dursley was an asshole.
He really was. And I am happy to report I have nothing to report.
Okay.
I thought this article was funny. There was a couple articles I went back and forth with this week.
Yeah, you did.
And another one was in Japan. 2 guys were fucking off in an industrial plant, and the one guy shoved an air compressor in the other guy's asshole and and blew this guy's asshole in half and fucking killed him.
Womp, womp, womp.
So he's dead now in Japan because that's what
That's what they do in Japan, I guess.
Shove air compressors up one another's assholes.
And a cool fact that I don't know if we've ever said before is this: whenever we share each other's research, Nick always has the article here, the news article. I never read it.
Rob never reads it.
I never read it, so I'm surprised on recording day.
It's like your parents leaving your presents in your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna hide your Christmas presents in your bedroom this year, Rob.
I want to be surprised every week.
You know what I would have said?
What would you say?
If I were Rob, I would say, it's a fucking joke because I didn't get Christmas presents because you guys fucking hate me. Did you get Christmas presents as a child?
Yeah, they still hated me, but I got Christmas presents.
That's so terrible. I'm sorry.
I got like 4 each year.
It's 4 more than I got. All right, now we are back to our regular. We got you all right?
No, I'm good now.
If you listen to the end of this episode, one of my friends named Ryboon, he's doing a folk giddy up folk rock.
Yeah,
we're gonna play his music after the episode.
Okay.
So you can listen to The Sun Will Raise. Oh God, I don't remember the name of it.
We'll figure it out.
It's a really good song.
I got a song for next week if we need a song. So
okay.
The
Sun Came Up Today. That's the name of the song.
Okay. I got one of my buddy's songs that I did a while ago that been on our show that I want to put on here.
That's great. We love playing your music, and we'll play it at the end. But we have a promo swap.
Oh, okay.
And this promo swap is from the podcast called Dumb and Busted. These are 2 ladies, and they talk about people that have committed crimes and did some dumb shit.
Haven't we all?
Caught. So he is the promo for Dumb and Busted. Come and Busted.
What podcast brings you true stories of exceptionally smart and insanely dumb crimes every week?
Dumb and Busted, obviously.
But Hannah, where's your one-stop shop if you want to hear about a killer nurse, a pervy arsonist, or a group of hella old dudes breaking into a vault?
Dumb and Busted. Allison, come on, seriously? We host the show together.
Okay, last question. Where can I go if I need to hear the #1 song of 1999, I Want It That Way?
What? The Backstreet Boys album Millennium? How did we even get on this tangent?
Oh, okay. Sorry for being the only one who's ever fallen victim to their tight harmonies and timeless songs. Anyway, please listen and subscribe to Dumb and Busted on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Crime you later!
'Cause it ain't no lie, baby, bye, bye, bye.
Wrong song.
Okay. That's Dumb and Busted.
Yeah, check them out.
They reached out to us today. I said, hey, I'll get you on tonight. And you know what she said? She said, I'll get you on 3 Thursdays from now.
Oh, okay.
I said, all right, that's fucking cool. Rock on. Well, I think we've grown a lot.
Yeah, we don't do terribly too many anymore.
So, we usually have a spot open for promo swaps. Whereas
Yeah.
I remember when we were first starting out, we were trying to promo swap with everybody. And now we're fucking lazy and we're tired of everything.
Yeah.
So we don't try and promo swap a lot. It's hard
enough for us to do our own fucking research, let alone plug another podcast.
We need to garner new listeners, and that's the best way to do it is with promo swaps. So
yeah, it is.
We're happy to promo swap with Dumb and Busted. Check them out. Check out Ryboon on Facebook. But let's get to the task at hand, Rob.
All right.
We're only 13 minutes in. We're actually 33 minutes in because we have an interview.
I was going to say, we've only been going for 13 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
God, lucid dreaming. We kicked around a few different topics. Now we came to lucid dreaming. There's some terrifying aspects to lucid dreaming where the dream can kind of spin out of control, and you get more of a lucid nightmare than you do a lucid dream.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways it can go. I mean, there's aspects of sleep paralysis that could be involved. That's terrifying.
Yes.
But yeah, I like this subject because there's a lot of different things that we don't really completely know about the dream world.
Yeah, I know in one episode we covered nightmare death syndrome.
Yeah, and we talked about astral projection a little bit.
Motherfuckers are dying in their dreams, Rob.
Yeah,
getting slayed.
Freddy.
Yeah, Freddy got fingered for sure. Now, if you've ever had a dream where you felt like you were completely in control, that's the definition. The easiest way to tell you what lucid dreaming is.
Right.
You can make decisions, and you want to fly? You fucking fly.
Yeah, you're pretty much able to control anything and everything inside the dream.
If you want to shove a butter knife down the tip of your dick hole, you go ahead and don't do it because that would fucking hurt.
That would hurt. A good point of reference is the movie Inception.
Oh yeah, a dream within a dream.
Yeah. There's a lot of it. A lot of the parallels. There's reality checks, kind of like how Leo uses the top to tell if he's in a dream world
Dude,
or
seriously, I
There's a lot
haven't
of
seen that
parallels.
movie in so long, but I know that is a good
fucking
movie.
Good. So good.
The concept of that movie is incredible. I know I watched that movie and Shutter Island in the same night.
Yeah, both of those are amazing.
And I went to bed. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I got no fucking clue what's real, what's not. I'm gonna try and yank my dick off. It feels kind of good. I'm gonna keep going with it. That feels kind of good. And then I masturbated and I fell asleep.
Yeah,
and if you don't like masturbating, then fuck you, because that stuff feels good. Especially when someone else does it for you.
Oh,
Rob.
Oh,
you frigid bitch.
Sorry.
Now, you do become completely self-aware in a lucid dream. Most of the time when you dream or you have a nightmare, you don't have much control over it. And that's, for the most part, what most people, that's kind of what they deal with is in terms of dreams and nightmares. They don't, the shit kind of happens. It's usually kind of fucking wonky. You know, just when you think you have control over the dream, in walks a man, a man cat wearing fucking lingerie holding a tub of country crock butter. I feel like that's what happens.
Butter my buns.
Yeah.
I heard I was here for the gangbang, so I bought some country crock in case we decide to eat some biscuits.
You say country cock?
Yes.
Okay.
Got that big old country cock. I'm going to whip it out. I'm gonna shove it inside my cousin real quick.
Always juicy.
If, that's kind of what my dreams consist of. Some stupid shit happens, and then I wake up and I say, "What the fuck, man?" In the Western world, it's a little less accepted, the thought process of what dreams are and what they're interpreted as. And now, when I was scouring the interwebs today, looking for an expert, someone to talk to, I found a lot of people that I did talk to. People that are like, "Sure, I'll talk on your podcast, and I'll do it right now." And I'm thinking, I've got 3 fucking kids here right now. You don't want to do that because it's going to sound horrible.
Right.
But most of these people were they were from Sweden, they were from the UK, they were from Norway.
Across the pond.
Yes. And so I do believe that the way dreams are, the way they're interpreted, the way we view dreams are wildly different than how they view dreams in other countries.
Yeah, I would agree.
So it was really cool to see what their thought process was and how many people use lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences and astral projection to do certain things in their life. And I thought it was really cool to meet all those different people. But some people can get addicted to lucid dreaming or reaching a state of lucidity, as they like to call it, because you can virtually do anything. And that's the cool part for me. And I asked him during the interview, I'm saying, I want to go to a 70s gangbang, a swingers club. He said, Nick, you can fucking do it, all right? So you don't have to worry about shaving your pubes anymore because you can go wherever.
I'll still worry about that.
And I meant to ask him another question, and I fucking hate that I didn't get to it, but in the state, there are no limits to the universe. There's no boundaries to the world. So like he said, if you're somewhere you don't want to be, you just get up and fly through the fucking sky like you're some kind of fucking angel demon man and go to wherever you want to go. That's the cool part about lucid dreaming. But then I also read my research. You can't have complete control over your dreams. You can kind of influence them, but they're not necessarily always going to go the way you want to go. It's like when you wake up after sex and you got to go pee. You can kind of influence where you want that urine to go.
Yeah, as a guy, it's kind of crazy.
But it's like holding your thumb over fire hose.
Exactly.
Not over garden hose, but over fire hose, Rob.
Yeah.
What movie is it? It's Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yeah.
He pisses all over the wall. That's not
exactly the way that it is in real life.
So,
yeah.
The way I like to combat that is I like to sit on the toilet like I'm taking a shit, and then I lean forward all the way down to the ground with my hands on the ground. So my dick, the tip of my penis, is pointed right into the pee hole of the toilet.
Okay.
So it's like I'm doing a push-up on the toilet with my wiener in the toilet. And then you make no mess, no fuss. It's right in there, Rob.
All right, that sounds...
Fill up the toilet full of your wild pee.
I'm going to try that.
No, you're not.
You're right.
It works for me. It doesn't, it might not work for you. But.
Once my dick touches the water, I'm out.
Hey, no. Mine doesn't go down that far, but you might have higher water at your house. I don't know. Mine's
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, low tide here at the Alexander house. Now, but then some people say the only limitation in your dreams is your brain. So if you want to go to a fucking pumpkin patch, and shove pumpkins up your ass, that's what you do. And speaking of pumpkin patches, we might be doing a Halloween show with Hillbilly Horror Stories and Twisted Philly.
Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, I know. Right. It just comes back to my mind. So if your wife asks, when your wife asks you what you're thinking about, my wife does this all the time. We'll be out in public, walking around the fucking grocery store, and she'll say, "What are you thinking about right now?"
Tits.
And I don't ever answer tits because I don't want to be slapped in the face. But I'll always tell her, like, hey, you really don't want to know what I'm thinking about right now because it's really stupid. And she'll say, no, what are you thinking about right now? And I'll say something like, I'm wondering if I could balance this box of macaroni and cheese on top of that sprinkler head right now. Like, that's the kind of shit I walk around.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
if I could fucking get up there, I wonder if I could make it from the back of Walmart to the front without touching the fucking ground. That's the kind of stuff I think about. Like, like jumping from aisle to aisle. Right. Using the sprinklers and the rafters, the monkey bar through that motherfucker. That's what I'm thinking about.
I do weird shit like that too, so it's acceptable.
Okay, it's not just me then.
No, yeah.
But like we said, on the other end of the spectrum are lucid nightmares.
Oh, this is a good one.
Obviously, this is going to be a lot darker scenario. Power is lost. The thing about lucid dreams is you do have control, and you can kind of influence what's going on, but then oftentimes you can fall into these nightmare states where you are still lucid, but you can't get out of what you're doing. And I had an experience like that, a lucid nightmare that I'll tell you about here in a few minutes. An overactive mind when dreaming, that can kind of be the what triggers these types of scenarios. The process of everything we have hidden in the back of our head, all the fears and anxieties, all that stuff comes to fruition in the dream. So there's no more intimate connection to you than your actual brain. I know that sounds stupid, but there's so many thoughts that Rob has every day that I don't know about, and there's so many thoughts that I have every day that Rob doesn't know about. They're just like nestled in the back of our brains. But the only person that knows these things are you yourself. And when you have these lucid nightmares, all of these things you're completely terrified of, all these things you're worried about happening that you don't express to other people, they can come to life. And that's kind of what we talked to Jared about, that, your worst fears can come to life in these lucid nightmares. And that's why it's so terrifying for people, Mm-hmm. Now, repeated nightmares that show us images or scenarios that relate to health issues or diseases can be a way of our bodies trying to make us aware that something is wrong. So I read about people that had repeated cancer dreams or repeated dreams where they had some type of deathly illness, and then when they went to the doctor to be seen for these certain things, lo and behold, they were actually diagnosed with the stuff that maybe not necessarily that they were dreaming about, but something bad was going on with their body.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, shoot.
It's completely off the cuff, and I just thought about
do
it. We did. Have you ever had a dream, either growing up or as an adult, that particularly frightened you, but when you woke up and thought about the dream, it wasn't frightening whatsoever? Like, in the dream world, you were completely terrified?
Yeah.
I may have talked about... I don't remember if I've talked about mine, but...
Tell us.
Well, this happened whenever I was a child.
You're right, meow.
It's probably like 11, 12-ish.
Okay, just right when you started getting hair in your nuts.
Yeah, right when I was getting fuzz on my peaches. Those drawings. I don't know if everybody did them in art class, but it was drawings that you would do that was like based off of perspective.
Yeah,
and you would do like the checkers, like a ceiling, the walls, and the floor, and they'd be checkers, and the farther you'd go in, it'd get closer and closer.
I very much remember this.
Just given the perception of
I still do this shit when I'm doodling.
Yeah, I do too. I do the same exact thing. I had a dream where I was stuck in one of those checkered worlds.
Oh, God.
And I was at the little end, and at the big end was a little person. And the little person was throwing balls at me.
Jesus.
Like dodgeballs at me. And I was so fucking scared.
Did you get hit?
I don't think so.
That's pretty weird, man.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird. And I was terrified in the dream, but then when I woke up, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Wasn't that big of a fucking deal?
Am I scared of balls?
Definitely not. Let me be the one to say it, folks. He's definitely not afraid of balls.
No, I'm not.
Anyways, I had a similar dream where I was really, I was probably 7 or 8 for this one, but I had a dream that I was flying around the yard, just like flying circles around it, but I started to pick up so much fucking speed that I got scared, like shit in my pants, like, God, I'm going so fucking fast. This is terrifying. And, I thought to myself, like, I got to bail out of this thing. I got to find a way to stop. So I just drove straight into a fucking bush, and I woke up. And I just remember in the dream thinking, just having this feeling in the pit of my stomach, like I'm going to fucking die from flying around this yard. And then I woke up, I'm like, man, I was not even close to dying right there. I saved that in the bush. That wasn't that big of a deal.
Weird.
But yeah, similar experience. Now these lucid nightmares, they can be brought on obviously whenever you're stressed, but stress is that's a catalyst for a lot of fucking fucked up shit in your life. It's not just lucid dreams. Stress can cause heart problems. Stress can cause your fucking hair to fall out. It can cause flaccid dick. Rob and I talk. Flaccid and lucid sound a lot like the same word.
Flaccid dreams.
So I have a lucid dick. If you said that to me, I would probably automatically assume you had a dick that was soft like a beanbag chair, like was flopped around and laid there like an old, like an old dead potato that you found in the back of your fucking cabinet and started to stink a little bit. Hey, get in here and look at my potato dick. Look at, yeah, got some shit growing on the side right there. From that Saigon whore in South Korea. You don't know nothing about that. Because you bunch of millennial fucks, you read your newspapers and your CNN and you vote for your Hillary Clinton. You don't know about fucking Saigon whores in South Korea, do you? Well, I think Saigon's in Vietnam anyways.
I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
That sounds right.
All right. Old Uncle Potato Dick. We're going to have to get him on the show sometime. Now, so these lucid nightmares, you'll see oftentimes people report seeing a flash of a dark figure possibly moving from behind the door to the other side of the room. Then, at that point, you're on edge. The fear blossoms, and what may actually promote the scariness of the dreams, anytime you get all worked up like that, you're projecting more fear into your dream. So these dreams themselves aren't their own entity, I don't think. It's kind of they're created in your own mind, but you can feed these dreams, and eventually you feed them enough, they turn into a fucking monster. I mean, that's the only way to put it. It can build and build and build till it's something that you can barely handle, and the only way to stop the shit is to wake up. Now, there's certain ways that, I don't know, when you're dealing with these lucid nightmares, there's certain things you can do to get around them, to get out of them, to kind of come to grips with what's going on. So they say that the experts say you may ask for the help of a guardian in your dream. And a lot of times, a lot of people report that when you call for this guardian angel or call for this person that's significant in your life to come save you in these dreams, that they will come save you. You can ask what is the thing that whatever's threatening you. So this dark figure, this dark entity that's threatening you in your dreams, you can ask that dark figure, like, how can I help you? What can I do to help you with your problem? Why are you here in my dream? Why are you causing me distress? What can I do to help you? I'm not going to do that because that's fucking scary.
This is my dream, motherfucker. I'm making it about me.
I have Craigslist dreams where people show up in leather masks and shit. And they say you can give them a gift as well, like a white elephant gift, like some edible panties or like a used dildo. If I handed my Dementor a dildo and he would be like, this thing already has shit on it. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro.
It's the best I can do, man.
Yeah, it's the best I can do for you. You're going to get this big old shitty double donger. That end is fine. That end has not been used. But if you flip it over the other end, yeah, that's the shitty end of the dick, for sure. And one thing I've learned during my life is traditionally you want to stay away from the shitty end of the dick, Rob.
I would say so.
The muddy side is the worst.
The brown side.
Put on your work boots, because this dick going to be extra muddy tonight, baby. Oh, you were the nastiest thing.
And Rob and I both have had some lucid nightmare experiences. I have no ideas what Rob's is, and I've never, ever told anyone about mine before, so you guys are going to hear it first. But Rob, why don't you share with us your lucid nightmare experience? No.
Fuck.
And we got to stop there. This is not Rob's nightmare. This is a story we found online, and we're going to pass the story along to you. I do have a lucid nightmare experience that I will share, but
I really don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, this one I have pretty fucked up, but
okay, I'm ready.
We'll go ahead with you.
This is what I found online because I couldn't think of anything on my own. I don't really remember my dreams. I sleep like shit usually.
Yeah.
So I think I got problems.
It's because your asshole's all bored out.
It really is. This is the one I found online that I liked. About a week or two after I started regular making myself lucid dream, my mind began unwillingly to go to dark places while I was in lucid dreams. After the first time this happened, with fearful results, I could no longer stop it from happening. The simple reason for this is that I would go to sleep afraid that I might have more lucid nightmares, and this very fear planted all of the seeds that needed to make the experiment repeat itself. What is more, I was unable to stop lucid dreaming. I no longer had to try to lucid dream or practice the techniques to make it happen. It happened naturally, although I no longer wanted it to. I would fall asleep, begin to dream, and immediately know that I was dreaming. Everything would go fine for a while, then something would happen. The sky would turn red, and Christ was returning to condemn me to hell eternally.
Repent, they're coming for you. Jesus is coming for your sins. He's gonna fuck everybody.
Come to condemn me to hell for eternity for my sins.
He's coming to come.
He's coming to come. Demons appeared at my back in close pursuit. Terrified, I would wake up in a bedroom in a cold sweat. Then I would feel relieved. It was only a dream. This time, I would think, I'm sure I'm awake. But then my bedroom window would smash inward, sending a rain of shattered glass. Someone was coming in through the window with a long knife. He'd waste no time in rushing in to where I was lying, paralyzed and helpless. As I began to feel the very pain of him stabbing me over and over, I would scream and try to shake him free. I'd close my eyes tightly, and then I would wake up. Or so I thought. But it would only be the beginning of another scary lucid experience. This would happen over and over again, lasting all night.
That's pretty fucking terrifying, man.
I feel like the sleep paralysis aspect and the lucid nightmares, if they're like conjoined, that's absolutely terrifying.
That would be the worst day of your fucking life.
It really would. It really would.
Now, I'll tell you about my lucid nightmare experience. So I think I've told everyone on the show before that I have really weird dreams. They don't make sense. I don't have a lot of nightmares.
Right.
Usually when I have nightmares, it's me grieving over I have nightmares that people have died, which are very fucking sad dreams, Rob. I hate when people die. It's the worst.
It is.
Now, and that's kind of along the lines of my lucid nightmare. I remember this dream nightmare, I should say, is so vivid to me. I woke up, or when I went into the dream, I was standing in the middle of a school, just a traditional elementary school, and I'm looking down a hallway, and there's several doors, on each side of the hallway. It's just a regular looking elementary school.
Right.
I remember thinking to myself, in the dream, I said, I have to go find out which classroom is mine because I need to go to school. And I had complete control over the dream. I could look around. I remember seeing the fire extinguishers on the wall. I remember seeing the finger paintings in the bathroom. The kids had shit their pants and got the shit out and wrote on the wall.
Yeah.
No. There's macaroni pictures and stuff, and I'm looking at everything. I'm stopping like, man, it looked like my elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm touching stuff like, okay, the tables, and everything's right. Everything makes sense. And then I go into the first classroom, and I open the door, and it was my entire kindergarten class. All I could see was from the behind, but the teacher stopped, and she said, Nick, you're not in this class anymore. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. And I shut the door, and I went to the next classroom, which was my first grade classroom. And I opened up the door. Everyone had their head down taking a test. And my teacher, she was at the desk, and she leaned over and she says, Nick, you're not in this class anymore. Go to your classroom. All right, fuck. And this was probably within the past 5 years that I had this dream.
Mm-hmm.
So then I go to the next classroom, and I open up the door, and it's dark. And I'm like, this is not where I want to be right now. So I start to close the door and turn around. And the janitor, who, he was an older gentleman, but a super nice guy. But it was the same janitor I had in elementary school. I turned around, he said, no, that's your classroom. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Fuck if it is.
Like, I should have been like, wake up. It's time to wake up right now because
yeah.
shit's about to go down. And I look, and it wasn't completely pitch black. It was weird. Like, there were windows, but outside was void. There was nothing outside. Just complete blackness out the window. Where the other classrooms, you could see the sun shining in. You could see the ball fields and the grass in the distance.
It was just a very ominous place.
Yes, but in this classroom, the lights were low. They were on, but the outside was void, complete darkness. And I look in, the teacher's desk is completely empty. And I look over my right, and I start seeing all the little desks. And I see like a construction table where, or like an arts and crafts table where all the kids would gather around and do stuff. And I see two little kids standing there. And I'm like, okay. So I walk up to these two little kids, and as I get closer, I notice that they have things wrong with them. Like the one kid, he was missing his color, like he was dead. And the other one had like bumps and bruises on his face, like he had possibly been in a bad accident. And then I look at these kids and I say, hey, is it okay if I join you guys? And they look up, and dude, I shit you not, this is the creepiest thing. And the one kid, these were of age children. These kids were like in the 5th grade, okay, like the 5th or 6th grade. And the one kid his name was Robert. I knew him from church. I think you went to school with him, but he hung himself whenever we were in school. Did you go to school with him?
I don't remember.
His last name was Stickle, Robert Stickle.
I remember the name, but
okay.
no, I didn't go to school.
He
with him.
hung himself trying to play a prank on his sister.
Yeah, I remember this.
And then the other kid, his name was Dustin. I grew up with Dustin. He lived 3 houses down from me growing up. But Dustin moved away to a different school district once we went to middle school, and he got in a bad car accident whenever he was 16, and he passed away.
After watching Fast and Furious, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And both of these kids were in the dream, and Dustin had like head wounds and bruises, and his eye was swollen shut, but he was still he was like a happy little kid, like I remembered him. And then Robert had like his color was missing, and he had like the marks on his neck like he had been hung.
Oh shit.
And I remember just like, I can't, and I got fucking goosebumps standing up and my hair standing up right now thinking about this. And I remember thinking like, all right, you guys, I'm going to tell these kids like, you enjoy the rest of your day because I'm fucking leaving this room. This is creepy.
Yeah.
And dude, before I could say it, I started to look behind me, and I heard like a snarling growl. And I peered over the back of my shoulder, and there was like this fucking like black, like hooded demon wolf thing. And it had bladed its body to where the kids couldn't see him behind me. And he had both hands on my shoulder blades, like with his fists. He had my shirt wrapped up in his fists, like he was controlling me. And I remember I started to turn around, and then just like immediately like this dark power was like transferred to my brain, like telekinesis. And it said, no, you're going to stay here and you're going to take their souls. Like that's what it said. That's what it said in my head. It said, no, you're going to stay here. But its voice was like I couldn't that's how it talked.
Mm-hmm.
But I could understand it.
Right.
You couldn't understand. Like, it was like a nasty growl, but I could understand it in my mind. Like the audio itself was like, no one could make it out. But in my head, I could process it. And I remember turning back around, and when I turned back around to face the kids, they were both staring into my eyes, like below me. And Dustin, I remember he like started to cry, and he said, "Are you going to help us? He's here." And I'm like, "Fuck, gotta get the fuck." And that's like, at that instant was finally when I was like, I woke up, and dude, I was sweating so bad.
That's crazy.
And like I was fucked up for 3 days after that. And all I could I wasn't super close to Robert. I know he didn't go to my school, but I had a lot of friends in common with him. But Dustin, I was really close to him, and that hurt me whenever he passed away. But just to see them, and I had like everything I wanted to do in the dream, I was doing. So that's the only reason I consider this a lucid dream, but that definitely turned into a lucid nightmare.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I just
Ever
since then, I've never seen that dark figure in my dreams before.
Okay.
And I was, at the time, I just remember waking up and saying, I hope this isn't reoccurring. I hope this thing isn't, this isn't something in my life right now. 'Cause I'm not a super spiritual person.
Yeah.
But I do believe in there's dark and there's light, and that was definitely a benevolent, it was something dark. It was something nasty that I did want to fucking deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Isn't that the scariest story you ever heard?
Very spoopy.
Yeah. And now there's lots of things you can do to slip into these lucid states. Now, you can talk to Jared. We'll have his information posted. You can talk to him, but some things you can do is turn off all the screens an hour before bed. And this is if you want to go into a lucid state. You probably have the research about how to test yourself throughout the week, right?
The reality checks?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can hit that real quick.
Yeah. So reality checks, these are different actions that you can do to check to see if you're actually in a dream or if it's, real life. Kind of like how I referenced earlier, how Leonardo DiCaprio would spin the top just
Right.
to check if he was in a dream world. So doing these things in dreams will let you know that you are in fact lucid. So
That's lucid, not flaccid.
not flaccid, yeah.
I am indeed flaccid.
So what you'll do typically is you're going to perform these reality checks throughout your day while you're awake, so you can kind of get used to them. So your mind knows that it's something that you do while you're awake. So these actions can be something you can do pretty easily while you're awake, but will for some reason be difficult or won't actually appear the same while you're dreaming. So one of the things which he talks about in the interview is the finger palm push. So what you would do is you would take one of your hands and just hold it out in front of you, and take the other hand, the fingers, and try to push your fingers through the center of your hand.
And that's your hand, not your asshole.
Yeah, not your asshole, because it'll go in your asshole.
It will go in your asshole. Which I learned on a slip of the toilet paper earlier this week. Like, oh, I got my whole fingernail in there.
So obviously, once your fingers hit the palm of your hand, you're going to hit that resistance, and that's all you're going to be able. You're not going to go any farther. In a dream world, you can pass through the palm of your hand. So
Right.
that lets you know automatically, hey, I'm performing this reality check. I'm in a dream because I just, went through went through my hand.
I went all the way through my hand right there.
I just went through it.
Yeah.
The next thing you can do is something pretty simple is actually checking time. So what you'll want to do is while you're in real life, or in real life, if you glance at a clock and then you look away and you look back, chances are it's either going to be the same time or it's going to be a minute difference, obviously. Now, in a dream world, though, you're going to look at a clock, it's going to show one time, and every time you look at it, it's going to change.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, time's going to distort. It's going to be completely inconsistent. That's another way to tell.
And I've read the same thing with words. Like you read a couple sentences, close your eyes and try to remember what it says, and then when you open your eyes back up, if it says the same thing, you're not dreaming. If it's the words have changed, you obviously know you're in a lucid state.
Right. Another reality check, which is actually the first reality check that I read about whenever I tried several years ago. This is finger counting. So you pretty much putting your hands out in front of you. You're counting each finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do that. Pretty simple, as long as you can count to 5
Some
in the
of you
real
stupid
world.
fucks might struggle with it.
But in a dream world, your hands kind of distort. They don't look the same as if you're looking at them in the real world.
You grow mittens.
Yeah, your fingers. Yeah, you look like the hamburger helper guy. big old fat floppy fingers.
Grimace.
The grimace. That's McDonald's.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're. It's harder to count your fingers. They just look weird and distorted and aren't easy to identify. And then going back to kind of like the same thing with the clock, reading in general.
Yeah.
So if you read a book in real life, obviously if you know how to read, you can easily tell the letters and the pages. If you're in a dream world and if you're trying to read something, the words kind of dance around the page. The page gets wobbly.
I can't
it's all
find their
weird.
podcast, Mom. I don't know how to fucking spell.
Why to make my reality check reading when I can't
Yeah.
fucking read?
It's bullshit. So those are all ways you can decipher whether you're in the dream or not. Now, if you're trying to set yourself up for the dream, this necessarily isn't it for everyone, but you can try it. You can turn off all the screens an hour before bed, which slows the hormones that make you sleep, which I never knew that. That's pretty cool. You can set an alarm 2 hours before bed. Set an alarm 2 hours before you wake up for bed for the morning. Let it wake you without waking you all the way. Don't open your eyes. Just let your body go back to sleep. And at this point, you may experience some sleep paralysis, and that's kind of the beginning of slipping into the state of lucidity. You can let your body and your mind slip into a hallucinogenic state where you can see colors, shapes, different sceneries, and random people. And as you go deeper into sleep, they will all come together. So you just kind of fall asleep thinking about these things. If you want to go to a wooded area and you want to fuck fairies, then you think about fucking fairies before you fall asleep.
Yeah, and throughout the day as well.
Because I thought, have you ever seen Hook, with a Peter Pan movie?
The one with Robin Williams?
Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene where he falls into the water and he starts making out with the mermaids.
Yeah, pretty hot.
I want to do that. I want to do a mermaid. But I feel like if I yanked her fins down, I don't know what that is. If I feel like if I fucked a mermaid and I yanked that sack down, it might kill her. Like, it's just like expose her bones and shit.
So mermaids have a fish bottom and a human top. Would you fuck a mermaid if it was the other way around? Fish top and a human bottom?
It depends on what kind of fish it is.
You just got a big trout looking up at you while you're fucking
my
it.
daddy knows I got a soft spot for catfish.
Speaking of my dad, hey dad, I know he's listening.
Hey!
Yeah. Yeah, I would fuck a catfish right now. Anyways, I don't even know where the fuck just think about the stuff you want to, lucid dream about. Now, I do have a story of for you guys that I read on Reddit. It says, as a disclaimer, I have lived with my boyfriend for over 3 years. There has been a point in this time that he has, there has never been a point in this time that he has ever been depressed, had an anxiety attack, or was anything other than an open book when it came to talking to me. We shared everything going on with our lives, and he never responded to negative things with anything more than a normal response except for a little bit of a temper. I say this ahead of time because he tried lucid dreaming, and what happened next was a complete 180 from his normal personality that came completely out of the blue. My boyfriend started reading about lucid dreaming and became interested in learning more. He started doing research and doing different techniques while sleeping, like trying to wiggle his fingers, etc. I don't really know a whole lot about it because I had no interest in controlling or remembering my dreams to be a larger degree than I already did, and I normally had a hard enough time sleeping as it was. My boyfriend normally falls asleep in an instant, sleeps like a rock, wakes refreshed, and doesn't really remember his dreams. I never thought it was something I would need to worry about him trying, though. Otherwise, maybe I would have looked into it a little bit more. The timeline is as follows. Saturday night, I started feeling him fidgeting more while we slept. I wake at the drop of a pin, so I felt him get up at least 5 times during the night. In the morning, nothing seemed amiss. I asked him why he was fidgeting, and he said maybe it was because of his lucid dreaming techniques. Sunday night was more fidgeting and more feeling him get up. I was starting to get slightly annoyed because every time he moved, he woke me up and added to my own sleeping problems. On top of it, Monday morning he seemed groggy and was showing signs bordering on exhaustion. He stayed home to work from home that day, claiming he would be able to concentrate more and would get more done. He's done this before, so I accepted it, thinking it was probably better than going into the office with him being tired. We talk on AIM.
Ooh.
AOL Instant Messenger, for those, this is a dated story, while we were at work, so even though we were apart, he was updating me on how he was feeling. He mentioned that he felt a heightened awareness and seemed able to think about multiple things at once, when he normally was only able to concentrate on one thing at a time. I mentioned that he was probably on a second wind from being so tired, and that he may crash suddenly soon and fall asleep. He also came to visit me at work for lunch. At moments, he seemed almost anxious, and others he would zone out. I was worried about him driving home and asked him to text me when he got there. I told him to work home until 5 and then relax and veg out and watch TV. He made it home, and when I got home from work, we napped for about an hour before I had to go to class that night. While I was in class, he called me and texted me, telling me he missed me and he couldn't wait for me to be home. Now, this is when it starts getting really weird. I got home from class and he pulled me out on the balcony. He then got down on one knee to propose to me. During the proposal, he still seemed anxious to a level that was more than just nerves about proposing. He mentioned about how he felt like he had been in a dream all day and wasn't sure if he was still in one. He said if he was still dreaming, he wanted to make sure he proposed to me and wanted to do it right. It was then I realized something was amiss and told him I would say yes to him when he asked another time, but I wanted him to be awake and realize what was going on when he asked me. I asked if he understood that, and he said he did, and he seemed okay with it. He had a few profound questions that he wanted to talk about throughout the night, but otherwise, there weren't any big red flags. Later that night, we talked more about lucid dreaming, and I asked if he thought he was still in a dream. He said no. He told me some things he tried to do while lucid dreaming, and one of them made me upset. This has been eating away at me ever since, but we ended up fighting. I went to bed angry. I'm not sure if he slept at all that night. I fell asleep at midnight and for once slept through the night until 5:30 a.m. At 5:30 a.m., I started to feel him fidget again and got upset. I turned and saw him on his iPad. I asked what he was doing. Angrily, due to our fight and me being sleepy, and he just got wide eyes and didn't answer. I tried to go back to sleep, but he kept fidgeting, so I told him to go in the living room if he couldn't sleep, since I had to get up for work in an hour. He jumped out of bed, opened our door, and then proceeded to stand in the doorway. He then paced around the bed like he wanted to get back in, but he didn't know if he should. Finally, I gave up and got out of bed too. He told me he needed to show me something on his iPad, and I grabbed it. I saw it was his dream journal and things about lucid dreaming on Reddit. I demanded, "Is this what you wanted to show me?" He didn't answer. I went into the shower to get ready for work. He then opened the bathroom door and the shower curtain and stood there staring at me with his iPad in his hands. I asked him what he was doing. He said nothing, and then he tried to get in the shower with his iPad. I stopped him and said he couldn't bring that in the shower. He tried a second time, and it was then that it hit me that he wasn't okay. I got him out of the shower and wrapped him in a towel. He started asking about an ex-girlfriend and said that he loved her but couldn't remember her face. He asked if we could go find her. I said we couldn't, but he needed to eat first. I said we could, but he needed to go eat first. He then saw a picture of the two of us dancing at my sister's wedding. He pointed to me and said, "This is Kim." I said, "No, that's me. I'm Jess." He then said, I what? He got confused and said, "I love you." He kept saying the word like I or one and then not being able to finish the sentence. Then went on for a bit. I had already called his parents, and by this time, because I knew because I knew we needed to take him to the hospital. When they showed up, he was still not making sense and wanted to go find Kim. We got him into the car with a little bit of hesitation on his part and to the hospital. At the hospital, he was the worst I'd ever seen. He was anxious and scared of any sound. His eyes would get huge, and he looked like a deer in the headlights. He couldn't form a coherent thought and could barely talk. He would hyperventilate and whip his head around frequently to try and find any little sound. He acted overstimulated and paranoid. It got so bad that night, he started fighting us when we tried to get him to walk anywhere. He would start to cry and then stop and get confused. He fell to the ground multiple times and stood on a chair and almost fell off the back. I had never seen him this way, nothing even remotely close to this, and I was scared. At this moment, he's been involuntarily admitted to an acute care unit for at least 72 hours.
That's crazy. Wow.
All because this motherfucker want to be up in them dreams, acting a fool, looking for Kim.
I couldn't imagine like not being able to know what the transition period was from your dreams and your reality.
I'm sorry, who the fuck is Kim? Because I don't know who the fuck Kim is.
That is insane.
That is pretty fucking crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Now, the next part, I have some stuff about astral projection. Now, astral, for the sake of saving time here, astral projection, that's kind of what Luke Skywalker did in the newest Star Wars. You know, this is a little bit different. This is where you can make your body physically go to, your spirit leaves your body and enters, I can't even explain it, Rob. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but you can make your body go to a different part of the world, a different time.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I think we've talked about this in another episode. I think it was that episode we were talking about. I think there's a lot of Native American beliefs as well, that if, once you go to sleep, your dreams are actually like your, like, out-of-body experiences that you're that's actually happening to you.
Yeah, like there's different realms and stuff, and those realms can't be penetrated unless you're in the dream state. Now, I asked Rob to find some time-traveling stuff. There's a certain topic that we stumbled upon called quantum dreaming.
Yeah.
And anytime you start using the word quantum, you kind of lose Nicolicious, because I know you're about to go down a really scientific route.
Yeah. The one thing I found on it, it was really scientific based, and it made absolutely no sense to me, and it would not have been fun to read.
Yeah.
So I opted out of that. But yeah, there's a lot of theories of time travel while dreaming as well. So
yeah, and like we said, it's called quantum dreaming. You can look it up. There's one gentleman that kind of covers the topic more so than other people.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's that these people believe that when you enter the state of lucidity and this quantum dreaming, you can enter different realms, different times, and you can alter history and the way things happen, the way things ultimately turn out. For me, I'm not buying it, because someone needs to go back in time and tell Hitler to go to bed and stop that shit. There's so many different things in history that can be and need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
I know everything has shaped things. Everything's had a part in shaping things to the way they are now. But I don't think that there's the possibility of quantum dreaming. And the expert we talked to, Jared, I don't think he was buying into quantum dreaming very much, but he's kind of like us. you know, he would like for it to be true. I think it'd be pretty fucking awesome if it was true.
Oh, definitely.
But at the end of the day, I don't buy it. And one other thing about this topic, there's the aspect of shared dreaming. Rob sneezed.
Excuse me.
We had to hit the sneeze button there for a second. There's the aspect of shared dreaming, and that's where you and another person can say, hey, we're going to meet up in a dream.
We're going to fuck.
We're going to fuck so hard. And my verbiage, I like to call that beaten taters.
Okay.
Anytime there's soft fucking, and then there's fucking, and there's beaten taters. And that beaten taters is like when you guys are having sex so fucking hard, you can feel your bones start hitting together. Not just the skin. You're getting past the skin. Like, you can feel the fucking bones hitting together. You can feel your pelvis hitting the back of her pelvis or his pelvis. Whatever you're into putting.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever you want to put your pelvis up against.
Yeah.
We're not discriminating here at the Brohio Podcast.
Hell no.
But that's called beaten taters.
All right.
And next time you are bearing down your wife, you look her in the eyes.
Let me beat them taters, baby.
And you say, I'm about to beat the fuck out them taters, baby. And if you feel like them taters are about to give up, don't give up, because I'm going to keep on beating them taters.
Gonna mash them.
You ever beat taters? You ever mashed potatoes before?
Mash them. I've mashed your potatoes a couple times.
If you go, there's one step further I don't talk about.
Yeah.
Like, there's beating taters and there's mashing potatoes. And
Okay.
when you get to the point of mashing potatoes, that's when you want to start checking up on, like, your lifetime deductible and shit, because
Right,
someone's going
yeah.
to the hospital.
Right,
like,
yeah. You're putting them into some anesthesia.
Yeah, someone is getting a toy car in their butt. There's some fucked up
Not
shit.
again.
Yeah, there's some fucked up shit going on there. But yeah, the shared dreaming, that's where people decide before they have the dream, they'll whoever the other party is, they'll say, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna meet up and we're gonna do stuff. And there's, I don't have it on here, but I was reading about scientific research that backed this stuff, where these people were, you know, giving testimony of what their dream's about, and then they would talk to the other person. Now, I know there's the possibility of these people getting together and hashing out what the dream would be, just for the, you know, the gain and notoriety they receive from it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these people seem pretty, like, exceptionally well-researched people, well-decorated people, and they didn't stand much to gain from these stories, but they conveyed to these scientists the kind of stuff that were happening in these dreams, and they were making sense. Like, they were both experiencing the same things. They talked about the conversations they had in the dream. They talked about the feelings and the places they were at, and everything, the collaboration, everything was completely perfect. Like, everything made sense, which that's kind of goes along the idea with the movie Inception, where these people were showing up in they were showing up in the same places. And I think, if I remember correctly, Inception, that was like their job. They were trying to that's what they did, is they went in these dreams to try and get information out of people that okay,
So they could figure certain things out and how to stop certain things.
yeah. And I would love to try some shared dreaming. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm going to look into it a little further, and maybe if you guys want to do some shared dreaming with us, write us at the Brohio Podcast.
Let's share a dream.
Yeah, brohiopodcast@gmail.com.
Let's connect.
Tell us what you want to dream about together. Do you want to go sledding down Mount Everest and die together? Do you want to go fishing so we can have sex with that half woman, half fish?
Do you want to crawl through our assholes?
It's muddy. You better wear a poncho.
It's a lot funner than it sounds.
Funner. I love funner stuff.
Funner's good.
Now, but the absolute coolest thing to me would be the time traveling thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I want that to be real. I want that to be very real.
It'd be even, like, it'd make it even more sweeter when you could do that, if it actually affected the future.
Yes.
That'd be great.
You could go back and stop George Bush from knocking down the Twin Towers and all that stuff. Now, that's pretty much all I have for me. I got some other stories here, but I feel like if we go any further, this episode's going to be super ridiculously long.
And I know you guys would hate that.
You would hate that. Even though I'm trying to convince Rob, my wife's going on vacation. I'm trying to get him to go to 2 shows a week while she's gone.
Hey.
But this is going to be
down.
the absolute busiest time of Rob's entire life. So
Yeah, this is going to be rough.
I might have to hire we'll get Ricky in here to do it with me.
All right. Have fun.
So do you have anything else, or?
Nope.
We covered it all.
Yep.
All right.
I'm good.
We're going to plug in the episode with Jared.
Yeah. Great interview. Make sure you listen to it. And then we got a song afterwards.
Yes, by Ryboon. Check him out on Facebook. RY_BOON. That's Ryboon. I'm not going to say his real name, but it's pretty close to that.
All right.
I'll tell Rob when it's done. But thank you guys
Yeah, thank you guys.
so much for listening.
Keep listening.
Keep listening.
We're begging you, please.
And if you would please, what really helps us out are the 5-star reviews on iTunes. Go give us a 5-star review. We are marching towards 1,000, Rob. We're like 920.
We're getting there.
I think we can hit 1,000 this week.
If whoever the 1,000th person is, let us know. Well, we're going to keep an eye out on it. We'll look at it, and we'll do something special for that 1,000th person.
If you are the 1,000th person to leave us an iTunes review.
Unless it sucks.
Right. If it's a 1-star, then you can go fucking fist yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're the person that does the 1,000th review, we got something special for you.
We'll figure something out.
Ohio care package.
Yeah, we'll make it real juicy.
We got to poop in our bag.
Yeah.
And we're going to have that song released for you here soon.
We're working on it.
We really are.
I got all the music done.
It's fucking hard as fuck.
Part of my verse. It's going to be great.
It is. So,
thank you guys.
All right. We love you so much.
Love ya.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
All right, Rob. We scored a big interview this week.
Finally.
We don't get a lot of interviews. People don't agree to talk to us because they think we're scum. But we got Jared here. Jared, how you doing, buddy?
Doing very well. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Awesome.
We reached out to Jared on a Lucid Dreaming Facebook group, and mind you, anybody that you find on a Facebook group, they're always, worth their weight in gold. I'm just kidding. You can find some really creepy people on Facebook, but I have full confidence that Jared, he's I've checked out his website. He seems to be fairly decorated in the lucid dreaming subject here. So we're going to ask him some questions about lucid dreaming. Now, Jared, was there like a catalyst experience that you had that kind of got you, researching more into lucid dreaming, or got you, looking further into it?
It actually all started when I was a teenager and playing a lot more video games than I should have been playing.
Okay.
Growing up, my cousin, who I grew up in Boston, he grew up in New York. We were the same age, so we were always going through the same stuff at the same time.
People from New York and Boston can't get along, can they? Is that true or is that false?
Oh, that is true, but neither one of us were big baseball fans.
Okay, so not a big deal.
We were able to get along.
All right,
yeah. So we would just talk a lot on the phone. And one day he told me, he's like, "Oh, you got to try this thing, lucid dreaming." And it's like you can go into your dreams, and it's like a video game. Like you can control the, yourself, which is the character. You can manipulate the world. And we actually started doing it to actually just get better at video games. Which, looking back on now, seems like a waste of a good dream.
No, I used to spray Crisco in the back of my Guitar Hero neck, so I'm totally right there with you, man. Made me play faster.
Makes sense. But yeah, so he basically kind of pitched it to me that it's having the same sort of awareness that you do in the waking world that we have right now, but in your dream world, which we usually look at as sort of it might be a roller coaster, but you're locked in on the track. You don't have that much input. Yeah. But with some training and practice and just like shifting your mindset a little bit, you can actually go into the dream world and literally do whatever you want.
That's what we're interested in right now.
Right now. I have a question for you as well. For a while I attempted, because they say you want to give a little bit of practice, usually about 2 weeks of running through, your going through practicing your reality checks and things like that. Now, while in a dream, when you aren't fully lucid, this is a problem that I had whenever I actually practiced, and even now, like even when I'm not or haven't, I will be aware that I'm in a dream and cannot stop pretty much myself from waking up. Once I realize it's a dream, I'm waking up. Now, when you're in that situation, what's the best recourse you can take at the time?
Well, there's a couple things you can do when you're in that situation, and it is a very common situation. It's happened. It happens to me, and sometimes it still happens to me.
Right.
And it's because when you get that awareness in the dream world, it's so exciting. You're like, oh, I'm finally there. I'm finally lucid. And it's this double-edged sword where you actually have done it, but because you've done it, now you wake yourself up.
Yeah.
But a couple things you can do is, essentially to kind of, metaphorically ground yourself. One thing I like to do, which is, it's sort of a twofer. It's a reality check where you put your finger through the palm of your hand,
Right. Yeah.
to indicate that you're in the dream world. But I also like, taking a moment when I do that. Usually you're like, oh, I'm lucid. Let me go fly or something. But to actually take a moment and just like kind of look at your hands and feel your hands and identify, like, wait a second, my finger's going through my hands, and almost kind of minimizing the excitement for a second so that you get comfortable with this sort of new lucid body that you have.
Okay.
Another great tip that I have no idea why it works, but I've heard many times that it does, and it has worked for me, is just spinning in a circle super fast.
Okay.
Just like it seems ridiculous, but perhaps it's like the blurring of the images, perhaps it's the just that you're essentially doing something that isn't that exciting, but you're still consciously doing it. And just that spinning in a circle in the dream world will help stabilize the dream and keep you in it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, see, I don't think I've ever went to sleep with the intention of going lucid. I always go to sleep, and while I'm in my dream, I will realize more so than not what it is I can tell myself, okay, I'm dreaming, I need to wake up. Like if there's something crazy going on in the dream.
Serious shit going down.
Yeah, there's some serious shit like, okay, this is a dream for some reason. I just know, like my dream self knows, and I'm like, okay,
I gotta get out of here.
let's wake up now, and I wake up. But sometimes that happens. I'm like, okay, I know this is a dream. I want this dream to continue, but I know it's a dream, and then I lose all control. I'm assuming it's just because your body's, you get like your mind, your activity in your brain is going crazy, so you're trying to. You're like going haywire pretty much.
Sure.
So it just wakes you up.
Now, is there people that you would recommend not trying lucid dreaming? I know I've kind of poked around with a few experts, and I read, they don't recommend psychedelics like marijuana, stuff like that. But some people say, yeah, go for it. It makes it that much more intense. Are there certain people you recommend to not to mess with lucid dreaming, or certain ways to not go about it?
Not really.
Okay.
And the reason I say not really, and I get that there are probably a few exceptions where someone might want to, not jump into lucid dreaming on their own. But on the whole, almost everyone can lucid dream just to begin with, but also can do it without any sort of fear. With that, it's going to harm you in some way, because going into a dream and saying I want to be aware of this dream, I want to be conscious. Part of that is also understanding what the dream is and looking at the dream as part of you.
Okay.
And we know that stuff from our subconscious kind of bubbles up into the dream world, especially stuff like our fears and our nightmares.
Right,
and
that's my problem.
While those can. Yeah, and nightmares are, despite all the dreams and lucid dreaming I've done and dream work, nightmares still can still scare me. But I know that those nightmares are part of me, and that the actual act of lucid dreaming can help you overcome those nightmares. Right. Many people get into it in the first place to just deal with nightmares, and also for the very small sect that I guess I'd say should take a beat before they jump into lucid dreaming. It would really be someone who's dealing with a serious traumatic issue that and we don't need to get too serious with what those issues might be, but I would say don't say no to lucid dreaming, but work with a therapist. If you've gone through something so serious and and your experience like PTSD or clinical depression or anxiety. Lucid dreaming can actually help a lot of those stuff, but it puts you in direct, confrontation with all the stuff going on underneath.
Yeah, that's intense.
So say like, if you're not prepared to deal with those issues, you might want to, take a moment, or I always recommend like, if you're seeing a therapist, bring it up to them, work with them. There are now therapists out there who use lucid dreaming as a type of way to overcome these mental health issues.
That's awesome.
And it's perfect that you mentioned the nightmares, because going through this, I did a lot of reading on lucid nightmares and sleep paralysis that can occur during this, and I think that's kind of the spooky side of this. It's when you get to those negative, especially with sleep paralysis, because I've never experienced it, but I can imagine how crazy that is. Now, I don't know if you've personally dealt with it or if you've helped people through that. How would you say, what would be your advice to deal with that?
I actually, it's funny because I haven't experienced sleep paralysis either, but I've always wanted to, which I'm sure anyone who has experienced is like, you're crazy, man.
It's weird because I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
But I would say it is true that for some, not everyone, that sometimes you experience a degree of sleep paralysis when attempting to have a lucid dream. And I think in practicing for a lucid dream, it's important to remind yourself, I might go through this experience of sleep paralysis.
Oh shit!
And to and to just be prepared for it, because if so much of the things we're afraid of is due to like it being unknown or shocking us or coming out of nowhere. And so if you're prepared, you have the mental fortitude to face it head on. But the great thing that I feel like people leave out about sleep paralysis is that sleep paralysis is a great way to become lucid. There's another lucid dreaming writer named Ryan Hurd who works very closely with people on how to utilize sleep paralysis to become lucid.
Oh man!
So when you're during sleep paralysis, is essentially your body is in its sleep stage, which has caused your body to be paralyzed, so you can't move, but you've woken up, and so you can you can see, you can think, and obviously that can be a very terrifying thing. But if you take a moment, you calm yourself, and you realize like, wait a second, you're like 90% of the way to a lucid dream right there, because your body's asleep, but your mind is active, and that's the state you want to be in when you're lucid. So you can steer that sleep paralysis into an amazing lucid dream.
God, that's so intense.
Right, that's crazy. It's cool that you can just you can shift it.
Right.
Nope. Yeah, when I started like looking into dreams and lucid dreaming, like seriously like researching and stuff, and it ends up being like an amazing thing, and you just start asking yourself all these like crazy questions about consciousness and dreams, and like, so what is what's going on in this sort of inner world of ourselves?
Right. I know you live in California, is that correct?
Yep, I'm in California.
Have you experienced a lucid dreaming while under the influence of recreational marijuana?
I do partake in recreational marijuana.
Our guy,
but,
yes.
But for me, I'm one of the poor souls that I don't have dreams, or I don't remember my dreams, or my dreams are severely limited if I go to sleep stoned.
Okay.
So
you're doing it right, buddy.
I have to make the choice. Some very lucky individuals, they smoke a joint before crashing, and they have amazing dreams. But
so good.
For the majority of people, marijuana limits the period of REM, the stage of REM, which is where most of your dreams take place. And the same thing occurs with alcohol and other, I think,
So that's why I don't dream that much.
Yeah, apparently cheese also has effect. I don't have any studies or something, but I've heard. But cheese actually might help your dreams in a positive way.
cheese.
Don't
There's
quote me
nothing.
on the cheese
There's
stuff.
no damage that cheese can do to your life.
That's like a food coma. I mean, I feel like you'd sleep really well.
Now let's we got some pretty messed up listeners, so now we're gonna move on to the heavy stuff.
Oh God, here
as
we
if
go.
it hasn't. So say you haven't shaved in a few months, you're getting all bushy down there, and you want to set yourself up for a lucid dream at like a 1970s swingers club. So pretty much what my question is here, like if there's a certain place or certain time you want to go to in a lucid dream, can you decide that before you go to sleep, kind of like where you want to go, what you want to do, influence your dreams at all before you go to bed, or is it just kind of like you wake up and where you're at is where you're going to be?
You can choose either option. Kind of let the dream kind of decide for you, or what's called a dream incubation, which is where you essentially incubate the dream that you want to have. So that would be and I would say the whole day kind of leading up to the night where you're gonna attempt to have this lucid dream. Let's say you want to go to your 70s swingers club.
You're right. You're speaking about. You're there with me, buddy.
Take a few moments throughout the day and just envision what that would be like. Envision walking in, the type of folks that are going to be there waiting for you.
Yeah, a lot of pubic hair.
Listen to a lot of Bee Gees.
Yeah, put some Bee Gees on. And then as you're falling to sleep, make that sort of experience the dominant thought in your brain.
Okay.
You can even hum a little, staying alive or whatever as you're drifting off to sleep. And the idea behind that is really just you're just sending a message to your mind and your subconscious self saying, hey, I want to get it on at a 70s swingers club tonight.
Oh yeah.
Please grant me that experience.
It makes sense.
And you'll find sometimes that you'll wake up in the dream and you'll be standing outside that club, but then sometimes you'll find yourself somewhere else, and sometimes it's just a random spot, but often it can be something that's important to you about why you want to, maybe a subconscious reason why you want to go to the club in the first place.
Right.
And then once you're in the dream, you can also make decisions there. Like, okay, I'm in a random field in Minnesota. I need to get to New York.
I got to get back to the swingers club.
So you just decide, like, I'm gonna go fly to New York. You just take off running, jump into the sky, and then cruise on over to New York.
It's like
or wherever your club might be.
It's like you're a fucking unicorn or something. just go.
It's so good.
Just go with it, Rob. Now, I have more of like this would be more along the lines of like your traumatic stuff. Now, a lot of people have loved ones that have passed on. Do you recommend people when they're trying to set themselves up for lucid dreaming, if they would like to reach out to or like experience a personal connection with a loved one that's passed along? Do you recommend people trying to do that in their lucid dreams, seeing loved ones that have passed on?
Oh, definitely. Especially if there's a certain sense that if they pass and you didn't get to say goodbye, or there's things you want, like you weren't able to get off your chest, before they passed. Visiting a loved one who has passed in the dream can be, obviously a very intense experience,
sure,
but it can be very cathartic in ways that, and even, people have all sorts of views about dreams where they're this sort of metaphysical door to, other dimensions. I personally believe it is all just internal. It's your brain. And even viewing it that way, so if you were to talk to a past loved one, and you even know that this is sort of projection of my subconscious, it can still be a very rewarding and cathartic experience.
Yeah, that's like I could imagine for someone that's experienced a loss like that, how much like how soothing for the soul something like that would be,
especially if it's a sudden loss.
Sure.
Oh, definitely.
Right. And we've also read, and it doesn't sound like you feed into this theory very much, but we kind of touched on quantum dreaming, where there's people out there that think you can actually change the physical world with your lucid dreams, but that's not. You say that's not something you subscribe to?
Not particularly. I'm very open-minded, and I'm ready to see. I'm always ready for my mind to be blown and everything I understand to be completely upended. So if we find that your lucid dreams are actually are taking place in another dimension that science has now been able to measure, awesome. I'm all in. I'm not gonna fight that.
I'm so fucking ready for that.
But at the same time, like, I do try to teach people about lucid dreaming, and there is so much like new age nonsense out there that like gets in my way that I just know is utter crap.
Yeah.
That I don't like. It's like I almost want to. I guess I have a personal connection to lucid dreams. So I was like,
sure.
Oh, this, like, don't taint my baby.
Right. I mean, you've got a lot of time and passion invest in this, man. You should feel that way.
Yeah, but in the same breath, I also am wildly curious about what lies beyond what we can detect.
Right.
So I catch me in one mood, I might be a little, I might start thinking, oh, maybe it is this. But most of the time, I'm like, all right, this is what science says. Let me stick with that.
Sure.
That's what we know for a fact. But always to keep like a door open for new ideas and new discoveries.
Right. That's awesome, man. I think I'm right there with you as far as I think it's kind of in our own mind, but I am desperately seeking. I think it's cool that science actually touches on this stuff, and I think somewhere down the road with the way we got the artificial intelligence and the AI, I think all this stuff eventually is going to go tie together. I think it's going to be a really awesome experience once they are able to tie all this stuff together.
Oh, definitely. I feel like there's the path that science is taking, looking into the unknown, and there's a spiritual path that people are taking, looking into the unknown, and that as we, as our tools, and measurements become better and more accurate, and we can just do more stuff in the scientific community, that the two sides, the spirituality side and this scientific side, will find a common ground. And
Can't wait.
For example, I don't particularly believe that. I don't give much weight to the idea of chakras and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I was looking at chakras, a map of like on the body. I noticed, I was like, wait, all those spots where chakras, there's a heavy, there's just a lot of blood in those. So, your heart chakra, there's a lot of blood in the heart.
Yeah.
Your throat chakra, you got 2 giant arteries right there. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't believe in chakras, but the blood, the circulatory system, like those are key spots in that system.
Makes sense.
So maybe there's something going on, but let's approach it from like a scientific look, opposed to just like my throat chakra's blocked because the planets are misaligned or something.
My chakra. I definitely buy that, man. Now, go ahead and tell us about your work, what you have going on, and how people can reach you and get the full Jared experience.
Sure. The first thing is with 2 buddies of mine, Thomas Pizel and Dylan Tuchillo. We wrote a book called A Field Guide to Lucid Dreaming.
That sounds perfect,
came
man.
Out. Yeah, and we envisioned the book basically as if you're going to, so you're going to the Amazon on vacation, you'd buy a guidebook to, know the customs, know how to get there, know what to do when you're there. We use that kind of mentality, but instead of the Amazon, it was the dream world. And so we wrote the book not to be super academic, not to be super spiritual, but just to be enthusiastic and to help anyone who wanted to lucid dream have that ability. And so that's one aspect of my life. And then the other thing I do regularly is do speaking engagements, one-on-one, tutoring, and group workshops, teaching people how to lucid dream, or just get in touch with their dreams, or just essentially become better dreamers and sleepers. And if you search Dream Labs Consulting, you'll find all the information on that.
That's great. Awesome. I feel like I could seriously sit and talk to you, Jared, for all night long, because I know that your mind is not just limited to this lucid dreaming stuff. I know you have a lot of thoughts and feelings about various things of the unknown, and I can just feel that about you, man. So.
Well, thank you. That's I think the best comment I got, all month, I think.
That's good.
Great.
Well, you consider yourself a friend of the Brohio podcast now. And
I'm glad to be one.
and we really do appreciate the interview.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're gonna turn it off, but we're gonna keep on talking to you for a second. But thanks everyone for listening to Jared, and thanks for being here, Jared.
Thanks for having me on.
I wrote the book on how to undermine the seven wonders. I took the over when the odds were favoring the under. Big fish on the line, and all that's left is spine. I called off on the day they came to do my dirty laundry. I took $1 from a man that looked like Mahatma Gandhi. Big fish on the line, and all that's left is spine. But hey, the sun is up today, enlightening the gray and melting ice pick. Heartache shade is a needle in the hay, just a silly masquerade. The dealer of a dead fish handshake. I told